Yeah, there we go. We are rolling. All right, guys. Welcome to Bad Publicity. Right off the top, if you have not subscribed to us, please subscribe, please like, please tell all your friends to come and join us when we go live. Get in this chat rooms and spread the word. Help us make Netrunner bigger. That's Hollis's mission. It's his mantra.
It's always the dream is to grow the community to a point to where if I ask someone if they play Netrunner, they look at me like I'm crazy and ask me, why would I ever ask that question? Hasn't happened yet. Give it time. Give it time.
You want it to get so big, you start to get those like the trolls coming in heavier and heavier.
Oh my god! I already have people telling me I need to be playing, like Wayland because we built it. So I can't wait. I can't wait for that day.
Zach, you're back again. It's good
yeah,
to see
thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
I don't know
it's
if you
great
stuck.
to be here.
I don't know if you stuck around and then we left for a bit and you were still here when we came back.
Yeah.
You've just been hanging out in this Skype bubble. In this Skype
just
call.
Just waiting to pounce on these opportunities. That's what it is.
Well, guys, both you guys were lucky enough to go to GenCon this year, and that is the topic that we're going to break down.
Okay.
Let me just hit you up with some numbers off the top. Let's get right into the down and dirty here.
Excellent.
In the top 16, were you guys surprised that Near Earth Hub represented the most with 5 people?
Nope.
Or do you think that number was a little low?
No, that sounds about right. Sounds about right.
Replicating Perfection hit 4. HB, Engineering the Future, the ID that I guess will not die.
It's around forever.
Yeah, so. 3 people made it into the top 16 with Engineering the Future. Making News made a little bit of a comeback, 2 people. Personal Evolution and Genteki Biotech, 1 each. So that's your Corp 16. Spoiler alert.
Well, wait.
Yeah.
Wait, was there any Wayland? Like, what was the stat on Wayland? Was it 0?
I'm gonna have to go over the numbers again, but I think the Wayland graph goes like this.
Oh my God, Jesus!
Right,
is there a slope?
Yeah.
I feel like there isn't a slope.
No, that's the kick up when you get to the
zero.
end, right? So you're starting it's like a reverse slope.
Yeah.
Certainly
an unfortunate showing for Wayland, or maybe a fortunate showing. Maybe now they'll give it a bit more boost in the upcoming sets or something. So.
Right.
Interesting saying there is that now it's no longer Lucas that's balancing it. He did an interview with Team Covenant saying it's gonna, he's gonna have to bring that stuff up with Damon because we and I would assume that most of the Mumbai stuff that for the next cycle is probably completed, done, maybe a couple tweaks. It's probably at the printers.
The impression I got was that it was done, at least from a card design standpoint. Lucas in his interview said that there was, when referencing the independent identities, runner identities from Day and Destiny, affirmed that there was no support for them, which implies to me that there wasn't either at the start there was no plans to give support or the sets are complete at this point. So like you said, it's probably from a design standpoint completed, and some of them are at the printer going through the motions now.
Yeah, I'm so glad you didn't say on the boat, because I don't think there is even a boat to put stuff on.
It's a metaphysical boat.
Yeah.
You got
the ship of dreams.
Yes.
So Corporation, guys. Spoiler alert is that Near Earth Hub did win the whole thing.
How about that?
Surprises there though. I haven't seen the deck list that.
It's Ben Blum's deck list from Philly.
Oh, like card for card.
Card for card. Card for card. Lucas linked that earlier and confirmed it was card for card Ben Bum's list earlier. I think today, actually, maybe yesterday, something like that.
Nice.
Awesome B Bloom, I think is his name, right?
Yeah, Ben.
Ben Blum, Pittsburgh player, very strong. Very strong.
Friend of the show, Ben.
So.
He's been on a couple times. So is it? I haven't seen the deck. Then is it a kill? Is it butcher?
It's Fastro.
Straight up,
Yep.
huh?
Yeah,
Straight fast
Fastro.
events. Yep.
And nobody saw it coming.
Well,
I feel like the last episode you asked me what I thought would win it, and I did say Kate NEH.
Damn, I didn't even go
Zach-
back and
Zach called it, man.
yeah.
It's crazy.
So,
Crazy.
Is that what you took then?
no.
Even
I told
with,
you.
like Clot being in the...
I mean, I took NEH, but I played poorly and didn't see the decks that I thought I would see, and was summarily punished. So, yeah, it was a poor showing for me. But no, Lucas just wrecked it. He was just at the top tables like all day, just
Yep.
crushing it. Strong player, strong
heard he was
player.
on fire
One of the
piloting these
one of
things.
the best for sure right now. So, yeah.
Is it confirmed? Will he be at Worlds? Is he going to be someone?
I asked him. He said he was planning to be there. So
Might as well.
Awesome.
He's got that buy now. I do think that he went in with a buy for this as well.
yeah, he's the St. Louis regional winner.
Yeah,
So-
I saw the regional game night that he won to get into Nationals with that buy. I don't know if he ran the exact same decks, but he ran the same IDs at regionals that he did at Worlds. Or sorry, Nationals. Hollis,
Oh, come to think of it, maybe he was running Ben Blum's Kate list. I don't know. He was running one of Ben Blum's decks for sure, card for card. But
Well,
I may have it flipped. I don't know.
Yeah,
now
it-
I
it-
think more about it.
it sounds a little more right because Ben's usually a Blue Sun.
Well, Ben at Philly ran Kate and EH.
Yeah.
So like I don't know which ones it was, but he may have ran both. I don't know, or ones of his own. I'm not sure. Actually, come to think of it, so my now I'm inaccurate. I'm less certain. But Ben did run Kate and EH in Philly, and Lucas ran Kate and EH yesterday, and at least one of the decks was Ben Blum's from Philly. I know that much.
Remember 5 minutes ago when you had credibility?
Yeah, I know, right? So just shot. I'll just dip out now, guys. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Hollis, man, what do you got? What do you got to say about the corporation side of things? You surprised to see the one biotech sitting in there?
I mean, if I'm being totally honest, I'm not. I'm really not surprised. Primarily because NEH in general, just NEH Fast Advance, NEH Butcher Shop decks, they're very consistent, and they're strong on their early game. They can pull themselves out of really, really tight spots. I think that a lot of people chose Noise as an example for runner because of a combination of how the deck can kind of derail some of their plans, if you will, in NEH and in RP. But fast robotics is still a thing, especially when you have cards like Cyberdex Virus Suite, and just in general, just good plays, as Zach can attest to. You can still win. It's not impossible. Having Clot and having Clot in the meta does hurt what you're trying to do. Clone chips and Clot do hurt, but you can play through it. You can survive through the resistance, and when you do, your train just keeps on chugging along. And major props to Lucas because Lucas went into a tournament just as a lot of great NEH players do. They went into a tournament knowing Clot is going to be heavy in the meta. He prepared himself with the Cyberdex Virus Suite, had plans to play around it to the best of his ability, and that's what let him get to first place. Is just really, really great piloting, and being aware of his matchups and what to do in very specific, particular situations. So props to Lucas. I'm not surprised by the RP showing either. I felt like RP is a really strong ID still. I was surprised with the second place Nationals Pacer. I was surprised with his deck list because that was not what I expected. But that's normal for Pacer. He never really plays what you expect all the time.
And what was that?
He ran a RP deck with that used Snare, and he ran his 8 agenda suite like what he's been running. Except if I'm not mistaken, he might have completely removed an NAPD, like NAPD entirely.
Well, he doesn't like that card. So every time you see the 8 agenda spread, you're going to see the fetal. So
Yeah. So he
doesn't
changed
like
out.
it, but he's been
NAPD.
running fetal forever. Like
Nice.
he hasn't run NAP in a while. He's been running the snare fetal corporate troubleshooter inclusion since Durham when he stayed with me there, and we were thinking about it, and he came up with the idea for corporate troubleshooter, and I didn't stop him. So it seems to have been doing well for him with the top 8 there and a second place here.
Yeah.
But Biotech, you shouldn't be surprised by that Biotech appearance. John Delisandri running
Man.
Biotech, man. That guy is one of the best in the U.S., if not one of the best in the world. He's quite strong, and he ran that to a top 8 finish last weekend, but the weekend before Gen Con in the Los Angeles regional.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that deck list. I've actually not seen that deck list. I'm gonna have to pull that up.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's a pretty interesting deck. So he wasn't satisfied with the butcher shop that he had been running to some solid performances. I'm not sure why he was feeling like it wasn't going to do too well or something like that. But I guess he was feeling a little stagnant or something like that. He wanted to try something new. So we ran into each other on Octagon, and I was like, hey, I've been seeing this biotech list that Kiv's been running a little bit on his YouTube channel, and I shipped him a list from that, and he was like, yeah, that's the list that basically was taken to Wasau Regional or something like that. He was like,
okay.
So we started playing with that deck a little bit. It was pretty fun. He liked it. He seems to have picked it right up. I'm not surprised. He's very, very good. So, and, did a strong finish. But John is a player that I'm not surprised to see in top 8, regardless of deck choice. So
Is that deck, is it versatile? Does it go either way, or has he got one of the biotechs that it's every time?
Oh, I don't know if I should spoil it. I just feel like that might give an unnatural edge to his opponents. Suffice to say that it has the option to put a lot of counters on a card frequently. So, but
Got to read between the lines
Right.
on that
so.
one. Let's talk about engineering the future and making news. Still sticking around. At this point of the game, are you guys surprised, or like, what's your thoughts on when a core set identity, PE is still there too?
Yeah, Eris ran PE. She came up with a PE list that she arrived at a very close comparison to men's deck from Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
So very, very, very strong performance by her for sure.
Do you think does this say anything about the game that the core set identities are still sticking around? I know Lucas has always prided himself that the core set is still always going to be the ultimate starter. But at this point, do you think it says that people are just not trying or experimenting enough with some of the IDs, or is core set just too strong?
Too strong? I don't think they're too strong. I think that they're definitely some of the strongest. But those were the basic strategies for the decks for a good portion of the first couple sets, right? I mean, installing cards that's what every Corp deck does. But HB was based around asset economy for primarily. I mean, the clearances aside. You have Adonis is a very strong econ option. Eve Campaign is fine. But, one of the strengths of Bioroids is manifested when you start piling up Bioroids, which incentivizes, installs and making large servers. So engineering the future, deflecting a lot of that cost is, it's pretty strong. It's definitely the strongest ID ability in the game. And, that certainly serves to be reinforced by HB's, their direction that the faction wants to go. PE, damage, that's what a lot of their cards do. I mean, just for the early portion of the first couple cycles, they put a lot of support into supporting these core identities. I mean, we didn't see RP really rise until Honor and Profit, right?
Right.
So, I mean, that's when RP really started to like manifest and assert itself as a really strong contender for tournament play, and really took the top spot amongst Genteki identities. And that's because we moved away from building a lot of that support for the core identities and the core mechanics that were introduced to us, those core IDs. So the fact that they're still performing well, I mean, they have a few cycles of support. So whereas these other identities are still, they're still catching up.
Still getting
so to see
a
them,
card pool flushed out, right?
Yeah, so to see them still performing well, I think it's just a testament to, strong designs in the early part of the game. Those mechanics coming together and good support coming together and still retaining a lot of that strength. And probably a large part is Lucas just keeping in mind that those identities exist and continuing to print support cards and continuing to, create other identities that compare rather than replace. So I think that's good. I think we'll see, as the game progresses, we'll see these other identities continue to appear and, try to assert themselves like RP has, or NEH obviously was a big step forward, but
and I guess it needs to be said that a lot of these other corporation cards are going to cycle out over time. So how much support do you think they deserve? Whereas if the core is always going to be there, you still have to be able to put cards out that synergize well with those
Sure.
IDs that are going to stick around.
Sure.
Anything strange? Any on the corporation side that you guys saw, or something you want to just give a crazy shout out to that you were surprised about, or something caught you off guard?
Well, obviously I was caught off guard by a lot more Glacier than I expected. I had to face some very problematic decks for Andromeda on the Corp side, like Industrial Genomics, IT department decks, HB Big Ice. Like it's the build I chose was not well geared for those types of strats, we'll say. But yeah, just generally speaking, I'd say it was a very nice metagame in terms of distribution of decks between the tables. I mean, looking at distribution in top 16, I don't think it's unsurprising that a Wayland didn't crack it. It would have been nice to see a Wayland, but I take solace in seeing that there is no Wayland, because now perhaps they're even more incentivized to print additional cards for Wayland. I like the factions theme and lore, but in terms of if I like to play it, not as much. So hopefully they they start to turn it around with Wayland. But as far as being surprised, I would say no. I mean, seeing the core identities and what identities represent in top 16, it's not surprising that those ones did well. So.
Solace. Yeah.
I would say that the ID that I would say I was surprised to see, and it's only because I had not seen his tournament performance with the deck before, would be John Delisandri's Genteki Biotech deck. I mean, because I hadn't seen it, when I realized how he was playing and what the heck was happening, I went, oh, okay, and I know who this guy is, so this makes sense.
He's a monster.
He is. He's a machine. He's a machine. A lot of times he plays things that he just likes or he finds interesting, and he's just a talented player, so he's going to do well regardless.
Yeah, a few equals to John in skill right now. So.
Yep. So, but yeah, that was the only thing really surprising. The making news wasn't surprising, except I had heard, and please, Zach, if you saw it differently, let me know. I heard that it was psychographics. Is that true, or was it a butcher shop deck?
There were two making news, right?
Yeah.
That made top 16, and unfortunately, I'm ignorant as to their exact lists. I'm not.
Okay.
I wasn't in communication with the pilots, so I'm not. I can't attest to exact card choices and what exactly they would have been. If I were to guess, I would say that it's more likely to be, like you said, psychographics or Scorch for sure, as opposed to fast events. But as opposed to which style, I'm not certain.
Gotcha. I would, if any of those, granted, I obviously don't know, but if any of those were a psychographics deck, I'd be a bit more surprised, primarily because it's not a deck archetype I see played often much anymore.
Sure.
So it's almost a blast, from the past that I see it. Nowadays,
Yeah.
people take the direct win route and they go, you know what? I'll just scorch you, and that's it. We're done. The game can end
Yeah.
here.
I showed up a little late to top 16 that day, trying to recover from the previous evening's festivities. So, so
Oh man.
as most days were for me.
I'm very impressed that it's pretty spread out though. Like looking at the corporations, there's not a dominant piece of the pie there. Everything's kind of that you'd expect to see. I'm a little surprised that not one Blue Sun made it in. And I don't know if that's just because of that Quetzal Faust build that was kind of catching steam, that maybe people, kind of put Wayland on the back burner because, I've jumped on Octagon with that Quetzal deck and it just wrecks Wayland. I've seen Wayland rage quit because of, they come in there with Blue Sun, they're stacking those barriers and you're just eating through them.
Was that with IT department as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
There was an article written by a member of the Winning Agenda named Jesse Marshall, and the article's titled "What's Wrong with Wayland?" And I know the article caught a lot of flack initially, but and some of the issues that are addressed are kind of resolved a little bit, are not as big as issues now. But he does cover some really important, things that affect the idea, affect that faction, that don't affect other factions. And I think part of that reason is because at the time, at Wayland's inception, when the cards were being crafted for Wayland, they looked at the potential to automatically end the game from a kill. They looked at that potential as being so strong that these other mechanics can kind of be dialed down, because you don't want to give this amazing power, as far as ice choices, as far as safety of remotes. You don't really necessarily want to provide this to the same faction that's the same corp that can in faction run 3x traffic jam and traffic accident and 3x scourge. But now, I think what we're seeing is the silver bullets for meat damage are there now. Film Critic is a new one. It can technically get around a Scorch play or a mid-season play, C-Source play, all that stuff.
Not C-Source.
Not C-Source, yeah. But mid-season for sure.
Yes.
Paparazzi, as weird as that is, does something now versus meat, even though it's a very weird, interaction there. And then you have Plasticrete, and you have I've Had Worse. So, the potential to Scorch people, those still present, and those still is a main archetype of a Butcher Shop deck. The faction has to be bringing something else to add pressure, in addition to this ability to Scorch.
They need to detach their economy from their agendas. If they can keep moving away from that, I hate to say symbiosis, but I don't think it's even a word that applies here. But basically, the intermingling, the superposition of economy with agenda points is problematic for Wayland. Hostile takeover, geothermal fracking, stuff like that. Oaktown renovations move in the right direction, though. But just having a lot of their economy contingent upon their agenda suite is it's problematic. It's problematic for them.
The thing that I was going to chime in with is that I feel that if you're going to really start to give Wayland something, it's got to start with the agendas. I just feel that they're so limited in their build space, what they can do with those agendas. There's not enough diversity among them.
Sure. So I was a bit surprised by PE making a top 16 performance, but I didn't know who the pilot was at the time when I first had heard that Personal Evolution had made it. But Eris is one of the strongest players in the Chicago meta, I believe that she's from. I've never played her, and honestly, I've not seen her ever play due to my tardiness and arriving at top 16. But and my my presence at the lower tables. But she's an incredible player by all accounts that I've heard, and so much so that her meta is features the inclusion of double feedback filter in some cases by some players. So
Wow.
So that she's warping it that hard is certainly a testament to how good she is and how much power the deck retains.
Yeah, no doubt.
So pretty good. I know I'm not a big fan of it, but it's certainly not surprising to see her in top 16. But it was a bit of a surprise to see the deck. So
I would have liked to seen an IG in there.
I'm glad that it did not. Yes,
that would have gave me some hope. Anything else you guys want to touch on from the Corp side? We talked about Wayland not being represented. We talked about a nice spread there. Surprises. Want to move on to running?
Sure. It's more exciting on that side of things, anyways.
Yeah. Top 16 runners. I don't think to anyone's surprise that McCaffrey is right up there at the top and won the tournament with 5 in the top 16, followed by a resurgence of Noise at 5, 2 Wizards, 1 Haley, which was nice to see, Valencia 1, Andromeda 1, and Max 1. The first thing that stands out to me as weird is how low the representation of Max is in the top 16 for how much I've seen her being played.
I'm sorry, Dan. Put that out there. I'm so sorry, Dan. I let you down. Should have played it. Sorry. Well,
it's a difficult deck to play. It really is.
It is.
She's a tough ID. So, in over 7 rounds, you can run into some snags for sure. But it demands a lot of preparation, a lot of fortitude in play as you try to keep your mental acuity at the topmost level throughout the entire day, which can be very difficult. But she's a very rewarding deck. I'm not surprised to see at least 1 copy. It was a Siphon Max, if I'm not mistaken, version in top 16. But I wish that she had a stronger presence in top 16. She's an incredible deck, and more people should play her. But yeah, good to see her. At least 1 copy there. Very good.
No clean sweep for the Corset. No Gabe being represented there. But Zach, you got an Andromeda showing there. You got to be happy.
Yeah, Sasha,
happy
Kansas player, I think he's from. But had the pleasure to meet him finally in person at this tournament. Great player, great guy. And put up some amazing results with old sucker Andy, just Mr. Lee and everything. I feel like it was a 2013 Memorial deck, basically. I guess.
Throwback. Oh my goodness.
But yeah, so just shows that how good a player he is. Just always consistent, always at the top. And this is after I think a 5-week break, being out of the country even. So it's just incredible.
It's like he had no time to rebuild anything new. He just grabbed whatever deck box.
Yeah, over the past 2 years, he's had no time at all. I guess I don't actually.
No, but congrats on that. There was a rewind a year ago, and Andy had so much hate, and everyone saying she's gonna be this dominant runner, and it's nice to see that there are other options, but it's still interesting to see that. When the pressure's on, she can still make a cut.
Yeah.
I don't really think there's anything to really talk about Kate doing top spot. But what about the Hollis? The resurgence here of Noise.
Well, I mean, it's side
going on?
games.
What's going
It's
on,
side,
man?
bro. It's side games. I told you about side games, bro. I told you. I warned you. It's.
Don't you got one of these?
No, God, get it away.
It's
Get
a
it
side
away.
game beater.
Jesus.
I'll sell you one.
No. I think what it is that Noise wound up in a really, really good spot in the meta, and he got 2 amazing cards, recently. That helped shape everything, right? So in addition to from the box, he got Steel Skin / I've had worse. He got Street Peddler, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And then there's also Faust. So you're looking at you're looking at noise and you're going, all right, so this whole like draw combo that I'm trying to get together, and in general, just instant viruses are available with Street Peddler. And then you got Faust, which breaks anything, which helps his remote game. So now Noise can basically do a lot of the things before that he had trouble doing a lot easier. Do you need that medium imp data sucker cache on the fly? Well, you have it, because you have Street Peddler, it doesn't take you in action. Or David even. One of these things will get installed when you need it. Same thing with Wildside and Pancakes. That is also a strong combination of cards. The ability to start your turn with 4 clicks and drawing 2 cards is amazing. And then comboing that with a brand new breaker that allows you to take this excess number of cards, if you're not really if you're that you're willing to sacrifice and get into a remote server by trashing cards if necessary, all with support from a corroder or from a mimic. Noise has a lot of great things going for it, and I think that all of those strengths, including what his just the mill capabilities that you have, makes it a really strong option, and a lot of people went with that as a result. It was a good choice. Our second place person, Pacer Stringfellow. He got Sean Pacer Stringfellow. He got second place piloting Noise, piloting RP.
Yeah, nice. It's nice to see what Faust has done, and I think it only complements that Noise package because like Noise has been playing with Wildside forever. That was the only Anarch draw. Then they made Wildside better, adding it. The pancake combo in there. You just, you can't ignore it. And his mill strategy or playstyle is always going to be a threat on the board for the corporation. He was just such an iconic runner. It's nice to see him back with a vengeance. Makes the Corp deck building have to think about a little something extra there. Wizard, I wasn't surprised, just because of the popularity of the Wooly Spags combo deck that got put out there. Yeah. There had to be some people that tried Wizard. I'm not sure if those are the decks that were taken, but when Scott did pilot that deck, it did breathe new life into Wizard and got a lot of people looking his way again. The one that I really like is the Haley.
Yes. Have you seen the list?
No.
Oh, it's something special. Eris, once again, just demonstrating remarkable play and remarkable deck building skill. It's a Siphon Haley list. So she runs. She was running, and she's running Refractor as her decoder, with the lockpicks, an Opus Economy, Fairy as her only killer with Cloneship and Sacrificial Construct recursion, and then triple Siphon. And it was it's something. It's a really enviable deck. It sounds. I know that she had some negative critiques of it, and on the NRDB listing of it. But overall, it just it looks fantastic, and it's I can't heap enough praise on that deck. The way it looks awesome.
Is that negative praise or negative critiques
towards some of the card selections? Some of the like some underperformers, or just cards that didn't have enough reach towards end games, I guess.
Before or after the tournament? Like did she
after the tournament, when she posted after the tournament. But
I can't get behind negative comments on deck builds that make a top 16 cut.
It's herself. It was her own comments on her deck. Like she was like, this wasn't quite enough, so something to revise in the future. But
that's okay. That's okay then. I didn't know if the community was jumping
from the community. No, I don't think anyone has a leg to stand on in critiquing it. Really, I mean, without playing it, it's. I haven't had a chance to play it more than a game or two, but it looks awesome. So, very major props to her for developing that and showing up with a great call for the meta. So. Yeah,
no doubt there. Hollis, what do you got on your side here for anything standing out?
Oh man, so a friend of mine a brief funny story. A friend of mine was at work, and we were. He actually brought up the Haley deck. That was the most surprising deck to me. It's amazing, and he linked it. He linked it, and if you guys don't know, the name of the deck is called Barely Legal Top 16. Do not look that up at your work computer. There's not a good way to explain to anybody in IT why you're looking up those specific words on any any site.
Oh no, I should have mentioned that. I did a disservice there in not mentioning the deck title. It's it's very creative.
So it's really really cool. I did see where she said why she did what she did, and that she wasn't really happy with some of the choices. To me, what's so left field about this, and it's something that my local group talked about before Nationals, is taking off an ear here. When you talk about decks that aren't played for a while, because people kind of get used to them, and so the question is, are those decks getting worse, or are people just moving past them? Are they just kind of forgetting that they're a thing? And I remember when maybe last year, if you recall, there was a Chaos Theory deck, I think, that was dominating everybody because that entire deck archetype revolved around Siphon, Stem Hack.
Yeah, before that even, it was Kate with Siphons and Crypsis and Magnum Opus. So it has a storied history of Siphons and Shaper, but the choices that went into this deck definitely encourage anyone to look at that list for some inspiration. It's really good. I really appreciated her inclusion of Refractor with some lock picks. It reminded me of my own inclusion of Switchblade with silencers as my only stealth and Andy. So I liked it.
The Valencia, you think that was you think that was a call because people thought there was going to be more Wayland there, getting through the Blue Sun with blackmail?
I'm not sure. Valencia is a great deck, and I think it was Michael Erlewine. I'm not sure if I'm saying his last name right. Michigan player who played it. Had a chance to talk with him a little bit, and he was playing Timmy Wong's list. I think card or two different, perhaps, but great deck. Timmy, great deck builder, great player in his own right for sure, obviously. And then Michael. Gosh, I hope I'm getting the name right. And he a great player as well, obviously. But Valencia is a fantastic deck. Very powerful. Very, very powerful. So.
Yep.
Do you guys think that this is what we will see at Worlds? Like, is this close enough to say that this is probably a good representation for those people going to Worlds that they should be preparing to face?
That's a tough call, Chris. I mean, we did have 3 sets that were released at Gen Con. So, well, not released, but, that were available for purchase. So, depending on the legality of those sets come Worlds, it's tough to say, given that one of them is a big box. So,
and I hear, and granted, grain of salt, like always, I hear that everything that got released here at Gen Con will be legal.
It seems very reasonable to. Excuse me. It seems very reasonable to expect that.
But we're looking at a big box that is NBN based, and we're seeing NBN as the top dominant corp here.
Sure. The wrench there though is how impactful do you think Film Critic might be, amongst other things, because Film Critic attacks both one of the bigger NEH variants, the Scorch version, that's relying on mid-seasons, and at the same time it attacks the Future Perfect and NAPD-based Replicating Perfection
builds. So
it's difficult to say, I think. I don't think that Film Critic's going to be, the end-all, be-all, but it'll definitely be a strong card, I think. I mean, as big as those decks are currently, it attacks them very well.
I do agree. I think one of the
agendas,
the biggest question right now is how strong that card's going to be, how prevalent we will see it out there,
and how strong those NBN identities end up being. So, Um, yeah, and I think that if those are a lateral extension of NBN. As opposed to a vertical one, so they're not extending current strategies; they're opening up new avenues of play, perhaps. So we might see some replacement to the butcher shop that came up, and we might see a slight push down on what's it called, RP. And Film Critic has a nice attack against PE as well, in terms of just not taking the damage off the agendas you steal. So it might serve as some sort of net damage reduction and a splash effect there. I don't think that's going to be too impactful, but it might. I don't know.
So you're saying that data in Destiny is going to do for NBN better than Order and Chaos has done for Wayland?
I don't know. That's such a tough call. We all know how impactful Order and Chaos has really been for Wayland. I mean, it really turned that faction around with the introduction of Space Ice and, gosh, Constellation Protocol making a big splash and such. It's really, I don't know. It's tough to say, but I would, you know what? I'm gonna go and say it. I think that the big box for NBN is gonna be more impactful for them than the big box for Wayland.
Bold move, Mr.
Yeah,
Zachary.
I know. I'll be prepared to eat my words, certain.
Jeez.
But you know. Take it for what it is, I guess. There you go.
God.
Hollis, what do you feel about Fantasy Flight dropping all of this goodness on you all at one time?
Well, obviously, because I have it, I love it. I'm very much of the opinion that I never think I mean, I'm weird. I don't think spoilers are really bad. I like knowing what's coming. Because I like playing the game, you know, like a lot of other people, because I like playing the game at a competitive level, it's nice to see what's coming down the pipeline. I get to have, for me, the fun is trying to predict the meta, but also in general, just new cards, just makes it so much fun to, you know, play with something new that I know is going to be coming out over the next 2 to 3 months. I think we're going to have to watch really carefully, on how the game is impacted by the mini factions. I'm sure we'll do an episode on those at another time. But I think one of them for sure, and maybe 2 of them, screw it. I think all 3 of them will end up making a splash. And I'm really interested to see where the most competitive minds of the game take those mini factions. Because when you kind of have something that's a very blank slate, and you say, hey, I want you to just season based on, you know, preference, you're going to get a lot of opinions on what's, like, top tier, what's the most effective, what's most optimal. And I kind of want to see the competitive minds of the game. I kind of want to see where those competitive minds of the game come up with and what they think is actually going to be the right direction for some of these mini factions. Same thing with NBN. I mean, we're seeing a whole new world now with tags doing something different than simply allowing for Scorch play. So I want to see if the ability to use these tags in different ways is going to be really super beneficial. If it'll change the game drastically, I would imagine it does. But the thing is, you don't know. I thought Bad Times was going to be a card that was going to be way more groundbreaking than it actually was. And in the end, the meta just kind of said, this card's I mean, why do this when I can just Scorch and win? You know, which is fair point. So
yeah. Well, you never know. Maybe NEH will see a merger between the Fastro and the Scorch now. I'm interested to see if it can be done with the 24/7 news cycle. If you it works so well with both breaking news and Astro, right? So you could just see it take the place of mid seasons and biotics. You know, if you score breaking news first and then get another agenda in there, then you can you can threaten with 24/7 to traffic Scorch or Scorch or traffic perhaps.
Yep.
But and then get extra Astro counters or something of that sort. It could be kind of neat to see like the merger of those 2 strategies even more so than what we see now. And then the new agenda spread that you can do at least out of NEH is pretty exciting with the Global Food Initiative. So.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that card.
So
They interview with Lucas for Team Covenant. He says that one of these new runners, is going to, or should be a force to be reckoned with.
yeah, Worlds or Nationals top 8 within the next year, I think is what he said.
Yeah, and as we did, Zach, you mentioned off the top, he also said that during the Mumbai cycle, the next cycle, they're not getting support.
Correct.
So we basically right now, some of us, have all the tools that Lucas believes necessary to take one of those, pretty far. Any predictions on which one you guys think is going to stand out? Yes,
Hollis.
Mister? You saw you raise your hand there.
So, okay. I think Sunny's pretty obvious for a lot of reasons, right? She's got Cloud Breakers, which, granted, the Codegate one isn't great, but the Sentry and Barrier one are pretty good. They're okay, and they're between okay and good, which is usually good enough. She can splash in Zoo, so effectively she takes no MU up for her Breaker Suite. Then you've got cards that automatically work well as a result. You've got data folding, you've got unload contacts. This is very slow, I think, to get going. But also, what I've in my head, what I've seen or what I've been thinking about is the fact that there's so many one influence cards that are coming out that are so useful. Like now we have Career Fair, so cards like data folding come out for free, and they just gain a credit when a turn begins. Unload contacts cost 2. It seems like she's got a lot of great things going for her. However, I'm going to take the devil's advocate. I'll let someone else talk, but I'm going to say I hope actually she's not the best. I hope she's not.
That link stands out, though.
It does. It does. Helps invalidate some ice. I mean, good luck getting Caduceus to fire, ever. I mean, but then who cares? Who plays Wayland right now? I mean,
I do think that's going to be an interesting fact, is that how much tracing we will see. You've kind of... NBN has the tools to actually make something that, with tracing now, but, Fantasy Flight does like to give the opposite side a tool to combat it, and maybe that's her, right? Getting 2 base link to start. Not every tool is going to work in every situation, but they always say that there is one out there if something becomes too prevalent, right?
Right.
Just like, Clot, if you don't like fast advance, you can play Clot, but, do you want to play Clot? Does it fit in your deck? Who's to say? Do you just want to briefly explain how the neutral runners will work for deck building purposes, for those people that don't know?
Oh, I mean, yeah, so what'll happen is you've got...
well, they're not neutral.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's the first thing that you should not have in mind, is they're not neutral.
Yeah.
So
they're absolutely not neutral, and the reason for that is because they wanted to be able to give the those decks cards that were very flavorful, that fit what that mini faction represents.
Yeah. Are they like also, the people from Divergent? Are they factionless?
Oh my god!
Can we just say that?
Oh my god! Factionless.
No, we can't. We can't say that. They have their own factions.
But the reason why they're also not neutral is because it limited their design space. If it was neutral, then they couldn't make a card that powerful, because now everyone can use it, and now there's nothing special about playing that mini faction.
Well, it also doesn't fit thematically. Like that's what Lucas was saying, is that a runner is a neutral faction wouldn't have a goal, if you will. So anarchs have goal, like a general overarching goal and theme, and criminals have an overarching goal and theme, and shapers have an overarching goal and theme, but neutral would be absent that. So instead of that, it's just finding independent hackers or runners whose goals are their own. And so in that case, they represent a singular faction composed of one as opposed to many. So it's just thematically. So Sunny's faction is Sunny LeBeau and her own desires and goals and what she set forth for herself, as opposed to ascribing to a higher calling, if you will, that is either criminal, shaper, or anarch.
Collective.
And so, well, I mean that's shaper, but so if we go, but Apex is has its own goals and desires, and so it's its own faction, divergent, if you will, from the other factions and so on and so forth. So, and that's where it fits in, is that each has their own special tools and special goals and special events that happen to it, or that it initiates to serve that end, much in a way that a person ascribing to the anarch philosophy would have access to those cards.
And just because some of those old neutral cards had influence doesn't mean that these people
they still count against them.
They still count against their totals.
All right.
So
for deck building purposes, you have in-faction cards for their own, and they have their own symbol and such for their own faction. And neutral cards work the same if they have influence or if they don't have influence, as they would for other factions. And other factions are played as out-of-faction cards, regardless of whether or not they're another independent minded runner or one of the established three base. So
Hollis, you thinking it's not Sunny?
It's not that I. It's not that I.
Thinking Adam? You thinking Adam?
Here's the problem. Sometimes I want to just be Jank Master, but I can't tell if it's Jank yet. I mean, maybe, you know what, I'm going to be honest. Probably everyone else knows it's bad or good, and I'm going to pick the wrong choice right now. I'm hoping Adam is the most busted shit ever.
Be fierce, Ajay Gale.
Because he's so, like, I mean, everybody's familiar, you know, anyone that plays Netrunner is familiar with, like, the concept of iRobot, right? So, like, there's the Bioroid that is built that doesn't have the same directives as all the other robots. And so he's just different. But we can't understand why he's different. A creator made him that way. We see the iRobot. But there's also a book in Netrunner about it. Actually, is it about Adam? I don't know.
You're going too deep for me, Hollis. You're
Sorry.
going too deep.
But yeah, there's a whole book. There's a whole book. Gollum, I think, is the name. Where a Bioroid starts to regain his memories, and that's what it is. And though he's regaining memories of the person that the mind map was done on, and he has dreams, but they're not dreams. He's remembering things that didn't happen to him. It happened from the guy whose mental map it was taken from. And throughout the book, his face begins to change to reflect this person that, you know, these memories are coming from. And things like that thematically always interest me. I like those kinds of stories. I like iRobot, even though, if we're being real, that movie's horrible.
I don't know. Adam looks much more remorseless in the art. He looks much more driven. It's more like it's much more Ex Machina than it is iRobot in my mind. So,
but he's to me he's just like the best Bioroid badass. Like I would go to a movie to watch Adam pick up Edward Kim's hammer and just smash other Bioroids. That's what I would go to watch. Because I'm pretty sure in one of his cards he's holding a large hammer that I think is from Adam.
Zach, are you going the total opposite and going to say Apex?
I mean, I feel like I've made a couple risky assertions tonight, saying NBN's big box is bigger than Wayland, and I'm going to go with Adam. You know what? I'll just take I'll just equalize it out. I'll go NBN's better than NBN's big box, better than Wayland's big box, and Adam's the best of the three. We'll just throw it out there.
That's why we give you the soapbox here, man. We give you the microphone and the platform just to come out and make these predictions. You know,
that's probably completely inaccurate. Playable? I don't know, but
yeah, I know. Yeah,
viable? Probably not.
Nope.
Good? I don't know, but fun? Yeah, sure. Looks pretty cool.
I agree with that. I think it's going to be interesting just to throw a new runner flavor in the mix, right? For those people that have been around from the start, who've only had the three styles to pick from, it's kind of nice to see whether they catch on or not. At least they're there for a little variety. Did we say? Are you guys happy that at Gen Con? Hollis, you said you are because you picked it all up. But do you think it was good that they released everything all at once? Like, boom, one drop?
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
you think they were trying to protect themselves against the spoiler people out there?
I mean, yeah.
The 4chan releases?
I mean, the thing is...
What was making it a Gen Con exclusive?
Yeah.
Just,
I think
so. For you guys made the trek. This is what we're gonna do for you.
I think so. I mean, like if we're being totally candid. I mean,
always.
It's extreme. Gen Con is not unless the real talk is unless you live there, it's not an inexpensive event. I mean, the hotel that you're going to stay, it's going to be expensive. The cost for the venue and event tickets. If you're the kind of person that has to get in early, you spend a lot of money on a VIG, very important gamer, badge. If you didn't do that, then that means that you woke up at 6 or 8 a.m., anywhere between 6 and 8 a.m. Sorry, I kind of did that.
Jesus.
You woke up at 6 to 8 a.m. on the day before, on the morning of the store opening up, and you sat down for 2.5 hours to 3 hours before they opened. When the doors opened, you rushed in line without running and waited for 3 hours in line after being up at 6 a.m. just to be able to get them. So,
Christopher, Jameson, let me tell you something. There's an alternate strategy to that. You can wake up at like 10, get there by 11, and just find someone.
I hate you so much.
And
I
be
hate
like,
you so much.
Can you grab a few extra copies while you're in there and just dodge the line entirely? And,
I like that strategy for those people.
It works out really well. It's like the best strategy.
This may or may not have happened for some of us in this channel right now.
Thanks, by the way, Paulus. I really appreciate
Yeah, whatever.
you.
Shut up, Zach. No, I mean, but that's the thing.
You should have joined me more often in the beer garden. I'll tell you what.
Oh my god. It's an amazing experience, and I think that they do things like this for the fans that are going to wake up, and they're going to wait in that line and get the stuff. Even in my case, where I bought it for someone else, the fact is that he still came to Gen Con, and to Zach's credit, I think Zach may have waited 30 to 45 minutes in line, sitting next to us, not even in line, to hand me his card and ask me. So he still had to wait, for a bit to get this
Had to
stuff.
butter you up, Paulus. Had to butter you up, man.
Hey, it's fine. It's totally fine. Whatever you got to do, bro. Just keep giving that. Just keep sending me those checks. That's all I'm saying.
For that extra hour.
But I mean,
hour of rest.
Oh no, God!
But these are but they don't even sell them at it's not like you're getting into this convention and you're getting these games at a discount.
No, nope. Like somebody could easily, when all these cards come out, I think we may have just lost Zach.
Yeah.
But when all of these cards come out, someone can easily hop on like any retailer, like Amazon, Cool Stuff Inc. And they can buy all of these cards, at not at MSRP.
No. I mean, I heard about one game down there that someone turned around and popped it on eBay for $200 right away.
Yeah.
And then got in line and got another one. It's blows my mind, man, because I don't know if they're everyone will have a chance to get them because they're not going to make them legal for tournaments unless they're officially fully released.
Right.
But it's interesting fact. Are we trying to pull him back into the void?
Yeah, I'm waiting for him to become available again.
He disconnected there.
I really feel like, and I'll say this: if anybody's going to be watching this, anyone watching this now, and anyone that will watch later, I kind of feel like it's not that big of a deal that people got it early. I think the negative is the people that try to scalp it, for a large profit. Don't get me wrong. I understand the markup because if we're being totally candid, 6 a.m. wake up, and then 6 a.m. wake up for an event that doesn't open until 9, and then a 3 hour wait in line. I mean, for me, if I were to sell a copy of Dead and Destiny, granted, I'm selling any extras I was able to buy at all. I'm selling them for the exact price that they should be. But I definitely don't fault anybody for saying, hey, throw me an additional $15, additional $20 for doing the legwork to get the item, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
But I mean, I saw someone online today, I think, selling what would be like Universal Tomorrow and Dead and Destiny, 2 copies of each, which I think the total for each of them comes to like 75 or so MSRP, and they were selling it for like 150. And I was like, holy crap! Like, granted, if somebody really wants it, they'll pay it. I mean, so I really can't. It's really not their fault.
Yeah, recoup some of your travel costs, I guess, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's really not their fault that someone's willing to buy it, at that price. I'm more surprised at the fact that there are people that are willing to spend that amount of money to get it.
Are you able to get Zach back, or?
Not yet. I am. He said I'll be back in a second.
Okay. Yeah, man. I mean, there's always going to be a market out there for it. So regardless of what price, there's always someone that is going to be willing to pay it, because I mean, some people are going to try, go down there for the sole purpose of buying the game early. A lot of people went down for the Game of Thrones, for example. So you can justify it by saying, listen, I'll just pay a little extra from someone who's going to sell it online, because then I don't have to say, take the time off work, do the travel to get down there, the expenses while I'm down there, this, that, and that, and then does it all add up? And most people, you're not getting the experience, but you're
exactly.
You're probably saving in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, that's also part of that equation. I mean, if you're selling it to someone like that, they are paying for no other expenses other than the item. So it's not ridiculous.
Shipping and handling.
Yeah, that's what I would call it. Hey, give me $20 extra. That's shipping and handling. Where do you live? Jameson, you're in Canada? Got it. That's all I ask. I'll ask. No, also it's just it's really, I think and Zach should be about ready.
All right. Bring him in for the final thoughts.
Okay. I think that anyone who's disappointed that you didn't get a copy, don't worry. The cards are going to be spoiled, if not very soon, if not already. You will be able to go about getting them soon. We can invite Zach now.
All right. Are you throwing the invite, or?
I got him.
So, is there anything they did different running the tournament? I know there was in their flight report, they said something about tournament structures and different tournament stuff will be touched on at Worlds, but there was talk that they were going to release tournament software. Was GenCon run off that new tournament software?
Actually, that I'm not sure of. I'll need to. I can't recall if that was the software they actually went with.
Are you adding him in, or
it looks like he's having trouble connecting. Still dialing him. I don't know where he is.
See if I can pull him in here one last time. He's going to just get hammered with Skype calls.
There we go.
Oh, sorry about that.
Hey, no problems.
Okay.
It's not us you're disappointing. It's everyone else.
Your fans, bro. Your fans.
Right. Okay.
Zach, just, we were going to do some final thoughts, but do you know if the tournament structure was any different? Were they using their new software?
I'm unaware if the tournament software was different. You mean different from just like the regionals and stuff? Is that what you're asking? Or
well, they said that in the flight report that there was going to be something touched on at Worlds about their tournament structures. So I don't know if they implemented something now.
Nah, I didn't hear anything different as far as any kind of divergence from
Unless
any
it'll
kind of the regionals.
unless it'll be an
versus-
announcement for the use of the tournament software officially.
Yeah, that could be it. I'm not really certain though. I did not hear or see or become aware of anything different from
In the chat. They said it's same old 256 person tournament, cup to top 16. no change.
Right. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it was definitely, it had some superiority to last year's tournament and some negativity to last year's tournament. I think I preferred last year's tournament, I guess, structure for purposes of Nationals itself, but for Gen Con, this was definitely a better format.
Yeah.
I mean, at this tournament, I was able to fit in 3 cube drafts and several drinks. So
That's the
there we
important
go.
part.
So I was drunk quite frequently.
We might mesh well at Worlds.
So yeah, but cube drafting's pretty fun. That was definitely the best part of my weekend, was cube drafting the Netrunner with various folks.
I think we'd like to do a Bad Publicity style. Like Hollis, you, me, will be there at Worlds. I think that first night, I think they're doing Netrunner drafts. I'll be pulling down in the afternoon, and usually Worlds is when they release the new packs. So I usually like to draft at Worlds because it's going to be that whole experience of, that draft where you're opening up and you're seeing cards that you have yet to see. The last couple times, it's just been a crazy experience doing it that way. So guys, let's wrap this up with some final thoughts here. We just want to say congratulations again to our Netrunner National winner, Lucas.
Yes, Lucas Lee, Nationals winner.
Well played.
Deserved. Well deserved.
Congrats, sir. Congrats.
Congratulations to Pacer finalists Noah McKee taking 3rd, and I'm sorry, I don't know any places after that. Actually, I'm completely unaware of who got 4th and 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. I know John D'Alessandro got 8th, but and I think Josh Wilson got 8th, a Columbus player who's exceptional. I thought he was going to take it this year, but not quite. So.
Final thoughts on how you take what you guys have seen at Nationals. How do you prepare going forward from Worlds? Do you concentrate on the new cards coming out and get a lot of play in with them? Or do you take one of these decks and just learn the piloting ability of a top tier deck? Like where's the focus on? What's the tips here? Someone's going to Worlds. What are you throwing at them?
That's a tough one. This is a very large influx of cards at once. So, what is it? It's 95 cards all at once.
Yep.
So
my math ain't as quick as that.
That's quite a few cards. I think it's important to recognize these decks that were played because the identities will still they'll still be there. The archetypes will still be there, still be present. But insofar as how to move forward, hold that on one hand and identify the really pivotal cards that are in these next packs, and just see which faction you like other than Wayland, and then focus on building the deck of your choice that seems pretty well positioned in terms of power, if not necessarily other deck considerations. I think that's what you really want to go for right now, is just try and build a powerful deck and learn it, or at least a certain style of playing a powerful strategy, and then just react to how the meta shapes up between now and Worlds. But there's some really powerful cards in these packs. I think Fisk Investment Seminar is one of the most powerful cards printed in Netrunner during the entirety of the game. That card is bananas.
Again, another bold sound clip.
Well,
I wish I had a way of capturing these sound clips and then putting them to buttons for later on.
I'm pretty confident that card is quite pivotal in terms of printing. It's very, very strong in terms of its effect, I think. So I'm not unconfident that won't make waves. I'm not sure where or how it might be best applied, but perhaps in the neutral and the I almost said neutral. In the mini factions, perhaps it'll best be applied outside of criminal. Maybe criminal can't even use it most effectively. I'm not sure yet. But in terms of effect, that card is very exciting and very frightening from both sides. So
BANANAS.
I'm very excited to play it. So and see what kind of potential is in that card.
So so in summary, then you're pretty much saying that we know the decks that are strong already. So you would spend your time looking at the new cards and how they fit in.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I would say that there are some general strategies that some of the identities may be able to fit into. Some general overarching strategies. But as far as how best to prepare for Worlds, I think that just looking at the existing archetypes, hammering one down or a certain style of archetypes, and then reacting to what decks arise between now and then. So that might be if you're just starting from scratch, I mean, that's what it sounds like you're asking. If you're just starting from scratch, then that seems like a fairly okay strategy to take in terms of how you approach Worlds. But if you're already on an established deck, if you're already on Valencia or Max or Noise or Kate, then I think sticking with what works is pretty good. They're all very strong, and I don't think that they'll have to adjust too much to the upcoming meta, and they won't give up too much of their power. Noise may be the best deck now. I'm not certain, but Kate is very strong, and I don't see their positions changing all too much outside of that.
Yeah.
Hollis, what do you got? How are you going to break this down? You just going to sit there and read all these cards first?
So card 1, power to the people. Event. I actually share a lot of the same feelings as far as like how really you need to be approaching deck building going forward with existing archetypes and potential budding archetypes and playstyles. So I couldn't agree more with Zach. The introduction of cards like Fisk Investment Seminar, Film Critic. I mean, those cards you can. I feel
Drug
like
dealer, perhaps. So.
I really like Drug Dealer. But they're cards that not only have I heard other competitive players talk about, but they're cards when you look at, they almost seem, if you play competitively, they seem obviously probably good, right? Like you can look at Film Critic and say it's pretty obvious why this card is good.
Right.
Drug Dealer, pretty obvious. Sometimes I like to think there's hidden gems that I kind of take for granted that are much better than I give credit for.
Yeah.
Right. Most of the time, that doesn't happen. Usually, if a card that is a sleeper hit, it's usually, in my experience, it's been cards that very much have a big archetype built around it, as opposed to like a single use, or it's a silver bullet. So I don't know. I think the right way to go ahead, Zach. You want to jump in?
No, you're going well, man. You got it.
Man. You got it. You're doing good.
Thanks, bro. No,
I warned you.
Oh God. I really feel like any existing archetype, and this is sort of my mental prep for Worlds. Could be completely wrong, but I mean, who's to know? My mental prep for Worlds right now is very much focusing on the archetypes that I'm going to see, that I've already seen. So I'm going to still be messing around, playing around, and checking my skill matchups versus RP, Fastrobiotics, Butcher Shop, and then switching that and going, Anti-Stealth, Noise, Haley Account Siphon, because apparently now I have to make sure I don't forget that is a thing.
That deck looks so good, man. It looks so
It does.
sweet.
It
A few
does.
adjustments based on what Eris said, and it
Brutal.
looks really exciting. It looks really cool. So.
But taking that into account, and then keep just an ear to the ground and eyes forward when looking at these potential options in the future. I've had a friend actually tell me that what is it, Sync, the one
flip
that
one? The flip
yeah,
one.
I have
4015. It looks really
40,
cool.
4015. I had a friend tell me that lately versus especially because no one's really doing Opus. I think Eris's deck was, but Opus is so uncommon now. It's mostly resource econ. I had a friend tell me that cards like the combo is just inherent with Gutenberg, with Data Raven, and Sync is amazing. Like it does so much work when they're losing extra money to remove a tag and you're trashing resources for free. So cards like that have an amazing value, but you really can't tell yet until the meta catches up. Like those are the things. Those are the things I'm really scared about. Because it feels like there's a lot of things that I want to say are so good, but the meta's not gonna catch up because not everybody has them. What have we done? What have we done?
Oh well.
I keep losing all these games.
I keep losing all these
It keeps
things.
happening.
Eris keeps using Magnum Opus.
I told you. But by the way, just a quick aside, Jameson, have you seen Sweet Bee Blum and Hella Vandover comic by chance?
Yeah. Yes.
It was quite possibly a life-changing moment at Gen
Sweet
Con
bee
for me.
blum.
Oh
And
my god.
I gotta say, I don't think Jesse went more than maybe 8 minutes since the point I read it to the end of Gen Con without hearing some reference to it, as I always
Poor guy.
told him.
Poor guy. He'll never live it down. Poor guy.
He won't ever.
The inside stories that is Netrunner.
Jameson, I didn't get your thoughts, bro. What do you think about approaching deck building and worlds prep with these new
Oh,
cards?
you don't want to hear my thoughts, man. I think that you should go into the World Championships with ready to put your name on your own deck. Go in with something fresh and new and catch everybody off guard.
Okay.
I like introducing, ladies and gentlemen, introducing Eris as I'm gonna call it Eris Wins Worlds 2016.
Oh,
You're gonna call it, huh?
We're gonna call it. Zach, I warned you about Haley Account Siphon, bro. I warned you.
You didn't. If you had, I probably would have played that deck. That sounds sweet.
I think the best way to approach going into Worlds is to look at what was represented at Gen Con. If you want to be, above the cut line, grab one of these decks, play it, and just learn how it flows a bit. Right? It's easier to play against something when you know what's coming a little more. I would say though that it's pretty over the regional season, as apart from the one-offs of Noise making more of a comeback, the part that we saw a little bit of Wizard, but even you look, he wasn't well represented here in the top 16 cut of Gen Con. I do think that it's really important to look what's coming. Like, really look at the cards that they have given to you, because even though it is going out on a limb, or sometimes it can be a stretch, when you pick an ID and you can call what's going to be good right off the top, and you just work that one ID, maybe a lot of people haven't seen it, right? Remember when Timmy showed up with Blue Sun last year, and we said it before Worlds last year on the show that if Blue Sun could catch people off guard, and it did.
Yep.
His build was really well put together. It caught people off guard. They weren't expecting to see an ID released so close to Worlds work so well.
Right.
So be prepared for things like that, right? But I also don't think that, don't go too far out on a limb, because, this is the World Championships. You don't want to be going in there with the most jankiest thing ever, hoping that, you have, a hope and a prayer, unless you're just there for fun. But, I mean, I would think that, people would want a little more out of the pie from that. So Zach dropped again. Is he making a comeback or?
He is making a comeback, but he said that his computer might be done. He's trying to get back to us.
Okay. I was gonna close off, give him a few minutes.
I feel you.
Okay, so I was gonna ask Zach this question.
Okay.
So now you have to answer it honestly.
Oh man. Okay.
Was there anybody there better dressed than you?
No. No, absolutely not. That did not happen. My friend Ricky, in his true style, he has a good fashion sense. My friend Ricky wore a blazer. I was wearing full, suit vest, suit pants, dress shoes, tie.
Yeah.
He wore black jeans with casual shoes. He rocked it.
You're like
but it
the
was
James
not full
Bond
business.
version, right? You're just sipping martinis, playing Baccarat. at the
Man,
back
I
of
wish
GenCon.
I could drink martinis while playing Netrunner. Are you kidding me? That would be a whole different experience. There is a competition that I'm preparing for. I say preparing for, by that I mean, just psyching myself up for. I'm gonna competing against Damon Stone for best dressed man in Netrunner this year. So we'll see what happens at Worlds 2015. Damon Stone, we're coming for you.
All right. Well, what's Zach saying there? Is he cool if we sign this off? Or did he have something?
He initially said that he was going to let us finish up. I do think he's still trying to make his way back to us, but I don't know if we'll make it back fast enough. I don't know.
All right.
But
Well, let's thank Zach for joining in and giving it the good old college try.
Man, so good. The guy is so smart.
Oh yeah, man.
So
he
smart.
knows. I wouldn't have been able to break down every name to every deck like he knows,
Oof.
man.
He's good, man.
Guy must just read the internet all day.
He's got a good memory. He's a really good guy to hang around with. He respects a lot of really pro players and their skills or strategies. I think
and he
anytime
gives
Zach,
up his time to join us.
yeah,
He's rubbing
right?
he's rubbing elbows with the big people when
I
he
know,
comes
he's
down. He comes down to
top
the gutters
dog.
here. The streets, the other side of the tracks, as we call it.
Oh my god.
Well, guys, thanks a bunch for joining us. Thanks a bunch for anybody that has been subscribing, has been checking us out over on the audio feeds. Really appreciate all the support. We'll catch you next week.
Absolutely. Guys, thank you so much.
No time for a real talk this week, Hollis, so you get
It's okay.
We'll bump it for next week.
I can miss one. I'm fine with that.
Thanks, everybody.
See you guys. Have a great evening.